Yo guys, this is Liam 2.0. Most of you probably don't know that, in addition to Minecraft and Star Wars and Little Nightmares, I'm also a massive Percy Jackson fan. Actually, I'm a fan of the whole Riordanverse, so today I've pulled out my books to break down the We've Been Expecting You teaser released August 18th, 2023. The trailer opens with a chime as two sets of elevator doors open symmetrically, perfectly framing our hero, Percy Jackson, played by Walter Scobell, who you may know from the 2022 Netflix movie The Adam Project. Most elevators have this two-door system where the door of the carriage latches onto the door of the landing, but here, the frontmost doors appear to be opening on Olympus, located on the 600th floor of the Empire State Building. They feature four-sided shapes in gold or bronze, perhaps even celestial bronze, over a layer of a blue mineral. To me, the color and texture most resembles that of lapis lazuli or sodalite, neither of which are particularly expensive gemstones. I think the gods might have cheaped out here. The fact that Percy is wearing a backpack and the two necklaces, one with 5 clay beads of different colors and one empty, is actually extremely important. It places us at the end of The Lightning Thief, where Percy is set to make peace with the gods. I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, but the second necklace gives us a clue of who it belongs to in the form of this ring. Next, we get to fragments of the end title card and promo text before this shot of the god Ares, played by Adam Copeland. Perhaps his dark sunglasses have already melted off his face, but his eyes don't seem to feature nuclear explosions like in the books. Otherwise, with his two-handed sword and military crew cut, the god of war looks just as described in chapter 20 of The Lightning Thief. I battle my jerk relative. This location is likely the Santa Monica beach, where Percy, Grover, and Annabeth are dropped by the Coast Guard after being discovered in the bay. We actually see the trio in this same location later on in the trailer. If this shot feels a little off, it's not just you. While the visual effects are great, there is some evidence of the background replacement in the soft, undefined edges of Ares' hair, and possibly more edge work on his hand, which appears to be quite small in this frame. That being said, this may have been shot on the volume, and the 1080p compression could be completely fooling me. The next set of the fragments could be forming the tip of the logo's trident with the 3 prongs coming together, and then we get a peek inside Cabin 3. As a son of Poseidon, this is Percy's home, though he won't be here long. We know this is Cabin 3 thanks to the turquoise column behind Percy's left shoulder, which we got a better look at in the previous teaser. Other hints include the nets on the right side of the frame and the traps on the left. The skeletons of aquatic beasts, perhaps mythical or real, are hanging from the high ceiling. Finally, along the center of the cabin is a fountain where Percy can use golden drachmas to make iris messages. The design of this cabin is very weird to me. In the book, Poseidon's cabin is described as low and solid, with walls of rough gray stone studded with pieces of seashell and coral, but the tall columns in the show remind me more of Zeus or Hera's mausoleums. Also, does Poseidon endorse the trapping of sea animals in nets and traps and the display of their skeletons? I wouldn't think so, but I also didn't design the cabin. I'm confident that Riordan did know what he was doing here, and that vast hall does emphasize how alone Percy feels in this moment. The mountains surrounding this bridge indicate that we're in a valley, like the one Camp Half-Blood is located in. Also, these figures are most likely demigods playing war games, as their feathered helmets match the ones in the first teaser. The fact that they're blue-feathered indicates that this is Percy's team running, as opposed to Clarice's team in red. Under the word waiting, we see the shaft of the trident protruding through the O in Jackson, the prongs still forming. In the next shot, we get a peek at Medusa, actress Jessica Parker Kennedy of CW's The Flash, and many other projects. You can see her hair of snakes, and even her makeup appears scaly. Here is Arian Samadri as Grover Underwood, complete with his goat legs. The visual effects hold up, but I think it's kinda tough to wrap my head around the fact those skinny legs could hold up an entire human. Grover and Percy are in the Montauk cabin, presumably right before they go on the run from the Minotaur with Sally Jackson. This scene with the trio running past a tree seems to be causing a bit of controversy among fans, as we speculate whether or not this is Thalia's tree. To me, this does look like a Christmas tree-sized pine, but it's not necessarily on the hill that it should be. That being said, the rock ridge they hop off of does form a natural fence that could be the barrier to Camp Half-Blood. More interesting to me is seeing the group together on their quest. This is Grover and Percy following Annabeth, played by Leah Jeffries. Seeing Grover framed alone highlights his elf-like satyr ears and makes me wonder if he's working the strawberry fields or something. And then in the most epic shot of the trailer, Annabeth uses her knife to pin a Fury's tail or wing to a piece of the bus from Manhattan. I'm fairly confident in calling this a bus because in the first frame we can see a second, parallel strip of lights on the roof. Since the Furies attack the bus as it's leaving the Lincoln Tunnel, I'm confident this is the creature being depicted. The shot of an approaching monster could be within the St. Louis Louis Arch, which I recall having similar architectural quirks in the lighting and paneled ceiling as you can see in this video, and the sign reading attendant booth could refer to the operators of the pods that climb the internals of the arch. However, if this is indeed the St. Louis Arch, that would make the monster a chimera, and that doesn't look like the head of a lion to me. So keep in mind this could also be the bus scene, and we could be looking at the head of a Fury like Mrs. Dodds. Finally, in my favorite shot of the trailer, Sally Jackson, played by Virginia Call, Grover, and Percy are driving through a dark and rainy night when the Minotaur smashes into the side of the car as lightning flashes. I love how gritty and real it feels with the handheld camera putting us in the car with the characters, the glass shattering inwards, and the characters being forced to the side. If all of the show looks that good, it might just be incredible. Before I go, I want to talk about some of the things we hear in the trailer. The song heard mostly in the beginning and end is Riptide by Vance Joy, fitting in with the name of Percy's sword and his particular set of skills. The first voice we hear is that of Virginia Call, Sally Jackson. I listened to some of her performance in the TV show Big Little Lies, and her voice appears to match up. It also makes sense that Sally might have told her son stories about Greek myths in order to prepare him for his inevitable future. That second voice,
"We've been expecting you,"
is most likely that of Lance Reddick, the late actor of considerable talent who portrays Zeus, King of the Gods, in the show. We see the pieces of the logo finally come together in triumph, and we can spot some of Zeus's lightning on the Disney Plus logo. Nice touches to round out an epic teaser. I know my breakdown was very late to the scene, but hopefully it will have been worth the wait. Let me know your thoughts about Percy Jackson, prior, present, and future in the comments, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!